It's an interesting topic to talk about. In the bottom right side, we got ourselves a red Terran player. He's fighting for the KC Gamers. He is from China. He is Time. In the top left side, the blue Zerg. Fighting for the Jinna Green Wingers. He is Rogue. Alright, so what about these team games? So I used to be a coach for Overwatch. Nothing too spectacular, just kind of, you know, on the down low, coaching some people. I had some pretty alright players that wanted to be coached by me, but overall, an interesting thing about the subject, about the team communications, right? It's always going to be of a benefit, but a lot of players as well make the point that ultimately, sometimes, you can get tilted. It kind of comes down to your personality as well. If you get tilted by people overreacting to certain things, you're going to play worse than you would if you weren't listening to them, right? So maybe sometimes, in a way, it also depends on what role you're playing, right? On a supportive role, you're going to need the communications a lot more than a solo kind of carry kind of role, where you can make a lot more of your own choices and decisions to influence the game. But it still comes down as well to, like, how much of a triggeredness are you going to have playing with your teammates yelling at you, or, well, sometimes. Spam this time to help out Time. Alright, there we go. I mean, Rogue's pretty cool too, guys. Rogue's pretty cool too, you know. I really like Rogue, honestly. I'm a big fan of Rogue again. Recently we saw Rogue play against, I believe wasn't it Innovation? Some other Terran. Which Terran was it again? I don't know. Anyway. Could have been Cure as well, actually. Something like that. But he was going for this style that was just pure Zerglings. He skipped Banelings entirely. Yes, he was playing against Bio, and he skipped Banelings. What did he do instead, you may ask? He went for Infestus. He just went for Infestus instead. Just some random Terran. Yeah, you know, I don't know exactly which Terran it was. There's too much StarCraft 2 casting for me to go on. And my memory is a little bit hazy with these types of things sometimes. I'm no Rotterdam, you know? I'm incapable of just having every single game I've ever casted in my memory banks at all times. And the ones I've watched as well. It's too much. It's too much. Okay, well, we're going for a Roach War in here instead. So no fun times allowed for Rogue this time. I swear, if we don't see the Ling into Infester into Ultralisk style here without Banelings, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed. Is Overwatch still worth getting? Right now, I would wait for Overwatch 2 to come out, see if people like that or not. And then maybe decide if you want to get into it right then and there, because probably a lot of new players are going to be coming in with Overwatch, right, for Overwatch 2, as that is coming out. But that's supposedly coming a big, there's supposed to be coming a big expansion for Overwatch. All the competitive modes, whether you have Overwatch 1 or 2, are going to be the same. They're going to be linked together. But Overwatch 2 apparently has a lot of the PvE content as well. Kind of like a co-op mode from StarCraft, but then in Overwatch, kind of doing missions and stuff like that. So I don't know what that's going to be like. Apparently you can level up your heroes then and take all sorts of different abilities. It seems interesting, but, you know, well, anyway. Anyway. Into this game right here. We got a lot of Hellions coming through. And as Rogue is moving in, of course, with those Roaches and those Zerglings. Let's see how that is going to be taking into effect. Oh, those Zerglings getting a pretty good surround there. Being able to block off those Hellions for a long time. Giving the Queens a good moment to... Oh my god, GG is called. Are you kidding me? Wow, Rogue. My god. He just rushed down the front door, breaking down the pylon, and, well, that was a quick one, wasn't it? Thought that was going to be a little bit longer, but, I mean, Roach Warren just going unscouted there for the longest amount of time, and suddenly everything's in your base, and everything's going down the drain there for time. Unfortunate, unfortunate. So, Rogue just doesn't care if it's entertaining or not. To be fair, I mean, that was okay entertainment-wise for me. I didn't mind it. He won? What the? That was a lot of Hellions coming in, but he had enough Zerglings at home to kind of keep them preoccupied. And then the Queens were done dealing with the Liberator. They were going to be able to deal now with the Hellions. There were Zerglings absolutely everywhere in the base of time. He was not going to be able to get anything out of the production facilities anymore. So it makes sense. It makes sense to step out at that time, right? So S-time at that time. This time. But then again, time and time again, you're going to look at these situations, and sometimes it's going to be a different outcome. But not this time, though. You literally just helped your girlfriend for a minute and came back over. I mean, yeah, it is. It's a shame. It's a shame. Sometimes Rogue just does this, right? He just turns it up to 11 with the aggression, and he's like, all right, well, here we go. Move all my units. And GG. GG is called. Unlucky. Unlucky. All right, well, in the bottom right side, we got him again. Let's do another introduction, shall we? The Red Terran player from China. Sometimes he shows up with extreme skill. Sometimes, you know, he gets a little bit link flooded. We're not quite sure in what stage he is in right now. I think he's a very, very strong player at the time being. At least seeing his dream hack runs and stuff like that going pretty well. He is Tan from Kaisi Gamers. In the top left side, we got ourselves a Mr. Blue Zerg himself from the Jinnak Green Wings. He is a Rogue. Is he going to do another quick aggression here? This is the scariest thing about playing against Rogue. Just realizing that sometimes he's going to go into a big macro game. Sometimes he's going to go into not as much of a macro game. Whether he's going to utilize just the front door or the back door with the Nidus, it's up to him. He can do it both as well as he can do anything else in this game. So, very, very scary. Also, I mean, to be fair, Time, he made a lot of Hellions there, right? So, overall, his army composition just nowhere near what he needed to defend against something like that. Even if the Hellions were at home. That was going to be a difficult one. That was going to be an incredibly difficult hold to make. I guess he would have done a lot better against all those Lings, right? They would have been able to be killed off, but there was still a good amount of roaches as well. At least he would have done better, I suppose, with the Hellions at home, but still. Remember when it was like Nidus every game? Yeah. Oh, Rogue. What a man. What a naughty little man. No Potsing says that. You have to play Protoss as a perfect, but... I mean, I feel like Rogue feels the same way about Zerg. Oh, interesting. Creep Tumor placement. Is that still going to get targeted down? No, it is not. Second Queen coming in as well. Zerglings being able to zone out that Reaper for now. You don't build Hellions to leave them at home. I think he was just trying to hide his Hellion numbers for the time being. Because that was a certain amount of Hellions where you just kind of want to run into the base of your opponent. And then just kill him. Straight up kill his drone lines, right? And... if Rogue was going for a regular third base timing with a regular drone count going up very heavily into the drones, that could have worked. That could have worked, but I mean, because Rogue was not going for that at all, and he just made roaches, he made an enormous amount of links. Maybe it would have worked because all the links, well, most of the links were across the field. It turned out that he still had enough links at home as well to defend against the incoming Hellions. Alright, this time around, Liberator, start up. The Hellions staying in the front side this time around as well. Guess that is one of the things we can point out. I suppose Time wasn't as active with his Hellions the previous time. Even with like a small amount, right? You can hide your Hellion numbers as well with just having less Hellions at the front of your opponent's base. But you need to stay aware of what is coming your way. So you can build those bunkers, you can start preparing for any type of a Ling Flood or the occasional roach attack. Alright, Liberator does get scouted here. Spore Crawlers already on the way. And Time is going up to a very standard build here. Went for the 1-1-1, has a third base as well. Now adding in those 2 extra barracks, getting his 2 engineering base as well. Upgrades from the Evo chambers already on the way though. This is a really solid place for the Liberator to do a siege up. Hidden on the high ground here, but the Queen looks like Rogue already anticipating this. Remember that he scouted the Liberator, so already moving into these locations with Spore Crawlers and such where it's most likely for the Liberator to show up. Ah, that's a shame. It's a baneling nest, guys. Who did we see again? Sushi, do you remember this? Who did we see Rogue playing against when he did the circling with just Infestor style? I mean, I like this style as well, the double upgrades for the Zerglings and the Banelings. It's a good way to play it, right? It's absolutely fine. Dream? Was it Dream? Ah, I see. Dream. Okay, thank you, Göttingen. Much appreciated, buddy. Now I remember. Alright, in he comes. That is... Alright, well, pretty alright connections for Banelings without any speed. A bit more harassment going on here. The Liberator managing to pick off a couple of units, but does go down against the Queen here. Front door assault is being held under control quite efficiently by Rogue. As the third base here is going to be under pressure. See how those Widowmine connections are. Not that great so far. There's another one hidden, of course. Ooh, careful. No retargets. Getting pushed further backwards. Coming in on the left side again, though. I mean, he's cleaning up creep here and there. But that's all about what he's being able to do. Now, does he need to do much more than that? I don't think so necessarily. It's going to be absolutely fine just denying creep for now. Would like to see him take a fourth base eventually behind this as well. But, well, yeah, Rogue, it does seem like Rogue is getting a little bit ahead in the base count right now, right? Especially if he manages to get that fifth base going as well. Widowmines here, oh, managing to get a good connections onto the Zerglings, but a lot of Marines taking the hits as well. The left side also getting cleaned up. Baneling speed is incredibly late indeed, but I mean, Rogue, it seems like he's doing okay without it. He's got a lot of upgrades for his links going for him. +2/+2 is on the way. Doesn't quite manage to clean this up on the left side this time around. Oh my dear lord. Okay, splitting off later on. But it's okay, now this is starting to get a bit scary now. I want to open up the units lost tab as soon as we see how this is going to unfold. Alright, there we go. 129 Zerglings have died so far. That is a significant difference in the minerals right there. Sure, Rogue is gaining a lot more minerals as well, but it's still a very playable position now for Time because of this. There's the 4th base finally flying over as well. Should become a planetary momentarily. As Time is trying to get himself even further in a position here. Widow Mines, let's see the connections. Getting the banelings right there. It's always good to see. Needs to be careful still. Quite clumped up with those Marines, of course. Another reasonable Widow Mine hit. Widow Mine's also getting dropped over here in these other locations. Targeting the Queens. Getting 2 Queens because of it, so that's pretty cool. And a drop over here on the left side as well. Time is going out of control. He is doing really well right now with his harassment. Needs to get a bit more though, but definitely a great start here. Can push in on the right side as well again. Managed to take out the base. Man, Time is absolutely everywhere. I need to jump back and forth between these locations a bit better right now. Oh, that is a nasty one. Okay, everything getting cleaned up this time around. Except for this push right here. I'm just going to be looking at the minimap from now on. I'm not allowed to see the action. Alright, right side again. More drops coming out as well from the main base here. 2 medevacs still with a couple of units getting chased down. There's more Widow Mines coming in here. Rogue is starting to struggle. He's starting to bleed. He's starting to really have some difficulties holding on here against the non-stop aggression from Time. Time just trading out super efficiently, continuously, and it's starting to show. It's starting to really take the toll on his opponent here. Oh, I love the dropping of the Widow Mines there. Great positioning overall. More drops over here as the attack as well happening over here. And there it is. GG, just like that. It is a rip. It's a rip for Rogue. Rogue goes down and he gets the series tied up. GG. Oh, man. Rogue. I mean, a lot of that maybe did go down to the baneling speed. I have been seeing more Zergs do this, right? Where they do go for the +2/+2 before they go for baneling speed. I'm not a big fan of it myself. But, it seems to be gaining some more traction to more heavily go into those circling upgrades. Perhaps that could be to kind of fight off against the more favored Widow Mine aggression, right? Where they continuously just drop them in, so I'm not completely certain, actually. I suppose it helps out your Ultralisk as well, right? So if you do get that transition going, that's going to be helping out quite a bit. Having suddenly extremely buff Ultralisk a lot sooner than you would normally have. So maybe that's a good reason to do it. It's hard to say. Alright. Let's move on through. Game number 3. The bottom right side, we got ourselves a red Terran player. He's fighting for the Kaisi Gamers. He is. Time. Top left side. Looked like he was doing okay for a long time there, but couldn't quite handle Time anymore. He is. Genetic Green Wings. Rogue. Time is the best Terran in China? I think Time is just the best player in China overall. And yeah, indeed. I mean, Time is one of these players that can just go absolutely mental with the aggression. It's not a player that is known to slow down his aggression because of things not quite going his way. He's continuously just mauling the opposition, gnawing at every which unit, every which mineral line that he can find. All the creep tomb is continuously under a lot of pressure when you're playing against this guy. Let's see. Let's see how Rogue is going to be handling himself this time around. I've seen that DRG actually recently as well. I mean, even he, the king and emperor of the Ling Bangling Mutalisk style, not playing that many Mutalisk anymore. Just because of how popularized the Widowmines are recently. Now, he is still playing a lot with Ling Bangling. That is definitely still on the menu, but the Mutalisk not so much. Just becomes very difficult to get anything done with them, with how Widowmines can kind of shut down the overall harassment they can provide rather easily. And then if you get hit by like 2 Widowmines and then a Thor starts shooting you as well, you're gonna bleed a lot of Mutalisk very, very quickly. And you just have to babysit them continuously. Zergling's a little bit easier to just kind of have a few of them in the front, tank the first initial Widowmine shots, and then let the rest go in as well. It's less of a babysit mechanic that's required. Third base coming in here for Time. Rather quickly again. Gonna go heavy in the macro. Same for Rogue though, of course. Just get scouted out right now. Time just wants to make sure that there's no Roach Warren still in the way. Could still be the case. Alright. Just the regular stuff. We see the Overlord speed coming up here for Rogue. So Rogue gonna try to get as much of a chance to get all the scouting information that he requires. We'll be able to see that it is just a 1-1-1 with the third command center with this as well. He's going to be able to drone up a bit more than he normally would. Or perhaps he's going to look for some sort of a punishment here. I mean, he is Rogue after all. There we go. Sees everything he needs to. Sees the tech lab on the starport as well. It's gonna be a bit more difficult now for him to make that transition into a big roach bush here, seeing a tech lab on that starport. Most likely going to be for, well, for Banshees. We're seeing that it is a Raven, of course, but normally you would anticipate either Banshees or Battlecruisers from this. The Raven, I really do enjoy the Raven play though here for Time. He's still going into bio, by the way. That's another very important thing to note here. Oh, look at that. Rogue coming back in. Looking to see if there's an upgrade on that tech lab right now. Looking for a fusion core here. Does he see the... Oh, he sees the Raven. Not 100% certain that he was looking at it, but... Very cool. So, yeah, as I was saying, alright. So the Raven, really good to have in a TVZ as well. Not a lot of people make it because you don't have that much use for the interference matrix, which is probably the strongest ability for the Raven. But here, I mean, just the stealth detection probably becomes one of the strongest things they have available to them, right? All of this right now, all these creep tumors that are around, you don't have to scan them anymore. Sometimes you want to scan ahead still to see whether or not there's a flood of links or a good amount of queens available there. But yeah, it saves you a lot of minerals because you don't have to scan. And gas overall, especially if you're going bio for a Terran, not the most crucial of resources to have. So bit of an investment into that Raven in the early part. It may slow down your +1/+1 and such, but in the end helps out quite a bit with your the rest of your economy game. And, well, makes it more possible for you to keep a push off of creep in the later parts. Go, couple of creep tumors here as well. I mean, they are just gone right now. Surely the minimal amount of creep available for Rogue. This Rogue is starting to swell up. A couple of links here. Again, going for what looks to be the quick +1/+1. Perhaps also +2/+2. Let's see if he still goes for the +2/+2 before the bailing speed. Because if he does it again, I mean, then 100% that is no mistake. That's just how he likes to play the game. And, I mean, I've seen other players do this. So, It seems like it's just something that they like to do. Okay, no, it is going to be the bailing speed, so maybe, perhaps it still was a bit of an oversight, the previous one. Hydra Den on the way as well here for Rogue. On a smaller map like this, could be quite lethal. Going for something like Lurkers, of course, later on. Coming in again on the right side. I don't think Rogue is actually fully aware just quite yet. I mean, he sees the siege tank now, so he should know. I'm not 100% certain that he knew that this was coming in. Anyway, he does have banelings. The baneling speed not quite ready just yet either. It's gonna take a second here. Zergling's actually blocking the auto turrets here. Zergling's coming on the backside as well. And maybe a few too many Zerglings coming in from the backside. The front not having the staying power that they needed. Banelings quickly on the production tab once again. Need to come out and play very early on here. Queens still have quite a bit of transfusion, of course, as well to keep that hatchery alive. But still a precarious situation here for Rogue. Cannot afford to lose a 4th base here in a situation like this. Sends his links across again. Actually just going to go for the big counter-attack right now. Feeling more than comfortable, it seems, with the units that he has left remaining here. I'm not sure if that is something that he should have done, because this base still in a lot of trouble here. Just doesn't have the staying power, I guess. Well, this counterattack, though, is paying quite heavily for itself. So many SCVs are going down. And I suppose now it is a very acceptable thing to lose that 4th base. Although he's losing a lot of stuff as well. Rogue gonna take losses on the drones on this left side as well. Yes, everything is just going berserk again once more in this this series between these two. Absolute chaos everywhere. A base dies, a lot of drones dies, more SCVs die though overall. So, I mean, who in the end is ahead right now? It is it's gonna be Rogue, I'd say. For the time being, it looks like those Zerglings did manage to do enough. That was a massive run by. I was not expecting just Lynx to be able to get that much done. But I guess there was no full wall of here for the 3rd base. And they managed to get into the natural base as well, so... Bit of an oof, bit of an oof. Now, Time, he can still bring this back, of course. He still has a good army. Still has the potential of harassment here. I mean, Hydras, they can shoot those medevacs out of the sky, but they not that quick, so gonna have to take their time trying to run them down. It's gonna be a difficult one here. We even have Burrow on the way here for Rogue, by the way. That is very cool to see. It's gonna try to get some baneling landmines going as well. A strategy that sometimes we only get to see when a Zerg is far behind and kind of desperate. But, I mean, if you're ahead and you can make something like that work, just as powerful, of course, if not even more powerful. Hydra's there on the top right side, pushing away that drop right now. Time catching up in economy as well, though, again, of course, having that 4th base on the way. Rogue, I mean, he's also still just on 4 bases. He's making himself a hive tech. We don't have a lurker den on the way, though. I'm not sure if that was intended. 6th base, or the 5th base, actually, also on the way here. Let's see, getting rid of some rocks right now, all the destructible debris. Useful thing here. Overlord seeing the Marines coming in from this angle. Rogue's got to be careful not to leave the front door open, of course, on the top side. That's a lot of Marines if they just stim in. Oh, that bailing landmine! That was tough to see even on that ramp area right there, but Rogue fully aware. My dear lord. What an enormous connection right there. Oh god, that was disgusting. Dear Louisiana. My god. Sweet baby Jesus. Alright, anyway. Alright. Vipers on the way. Lurker Den on the way. Rogue with that landmine right there. He kind of stopped any attempt of aggression for the time being quite heavily. He's going to buy himself a lot of time to get the transition going into those lurkers right now without time really having that much to say about it. He's going to attempt another bit of aggression here, it looks like. Are we going to get more Banelings burrowed? Imagine if he still had that Raven, actually, at that moment in time. That Baneling landmine's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about if you have a Raven, but unfortunately it did bite the bullet here somewhere at some point in time when everything went haywire at some point. Nidus Network also coming in. Scanning ahead now from now on. It's gonna use the scans continuously. A good choice. There are the lurkers though. They do have themselves the range upgrade, but still getting out-sieged by the siege tanks. Unless if there's Vipers involved. Changes the entire equation again. Time already under attack as well, with the counter-attack links coming into his third. As Time is just trying to find anything here, any type of value that he can in order to push this backwards. May want to consider getting himself into the Ghost, not necessarily to snipe the Lurkers, but just in order to get the EMPs off of on the Vipers here. I think, you know what, guys, this is going to quite a awful place right now for Time. He's losing another base. The Nidus Network in the main is going to finish, but nothing will come out. Alright, so does manage to deal with that efficiently here. Some Hellion run-bys over there as well. Siege tank still on the top side. These guys are just trying to out-micro and out-multitask one another to the fullest extent of the words, because they are absolutely everywhere. So I'm gonna attempt another taking of the base here in the bottom left side. Big attack here, actually. Those lurkers just jumping right on top of all of these bios units. Is that still going to be enough for him? Yes, it is. It looks like, with the blinding clouds in specifically there, being able to help out quite a bit. GG is called. Rogue just too much to handle for